Take the decentralized finance approach. You could codify most of, let's say, a mortgage contract into a smart contract nowadays using the Ethereum as the underlying asset. And this wasn't possible until maybe 4 or 5 years ago. There's been a realization that a lot of these age-old sectors we can make a lot more efficient with decentralized finance, and technology has now finally enabled us to do that, which is why we've seen this explosive growth in the sector.
Welcome to NAI 500's CEO interview series, where we interview the CEOs of the most exciting small cap stocks in the market today. In this episode, we are interviewing Wouter Witvoet, CEO of DeFi Technologies Incorporated, trading on the NEO under DEFI. DeFi Technologies listed on the NEO exchange in Canada in late January and saw its stock price rise from 90 cents to a high of $3.13 in early March. The company is focused on investing, incubating, and trading in the decentralized finance market, one of the hottest areas in cryptocurrencies. DeFi also just closed a $10 million financing on March 9th for $2 a common share. Please like our video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to help us get more cutting-edge stock coverage to the market. Hi, Wouter. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me today.
So thank you again for taking the time to talk with us. DeFi Technologies has been very interesting after its listing, and your stock price has gone from about $1 since your listing to over $3. So what's behind this explosive growth?
Yeah, thank you for asking a question. I think when we started DeFi, everyone who's involved in the company has had many companies behind them. My co-founder Olivier is the founder of Hive Blockchain Technologies, which is also listed in Canada, and it's some phenomenal growth. It's valued over $2 billion. You have myself included, a founder of SecFi, but we brought on board a lot of people, such as the founder of the Snowflake and Maya, as well as Anthony Pompliano, which just gives a lot of like the deal flow that we need for the company, as well as some of the acquisitions that we made have shown really like early success, and I think people notice that. That I think contributes to people seeing really the potential of the team. There's of course the potential of the market DeFi, which has grown from 500 million in 2019 to about 40 billion in market cap today. That brings it that it's just a very exciting public market story. That we're the first in and have an amazing team that can realize that value.
So DeFi has been called the hottest ticket in cryptocurrency today. What exactly is decentralized finance, and why is it so exciting for investors?
So I think it's always the best to explain this with an example. So take your typical mortgage and the parties that are involved in the centralized finance space. You probably have a bank, you have a liquidity provider, you probably have lawyers that need to go over the documents and the contracts they need to sign, and then you need to make wires on a monthly basis to pay your interest. So there's a lot of trust involved to make sure that you make those wires. There's contracts that need to be followed. And there's a lot of intermediaries that take origination fee, transaction fees, bank fees, and etc. It has worked for a very long time, but it is an inefficient model. Take the decentralized finance approach. You could codify most of, let's say, a mortgage contract into a smart contract nowadays using the Ethereum as the underlying asset, and this wasn't possible until maybe 4 or 5 years ago. There's been a realization that a lot of these age-old sectors we can make a lot more efficient with decentralized finance, and technology has now finally enabled us to do that, which is why we've seen this explosive growth in the sector.
So your website says that your 3 investment pillars are investing, incubating, and trading. Give our viewers a better picture of your business model and how you generate returns from the DeFi space.
First sort of bucket that I would describe is through one of our acquisitions that we made that is also public on Valor Structured Products. We give public markets investor exposure to DeFi protocols that synthetically track the value of the underlying. So we started in December by doing that, launching the first product called Bitcoin Zero. It's now at 40 million of AUM, and it's the most traded product in Stockholm, the Nordic growth market, every single day. So we're looking to expand that to DeFi because it's not that easy for customers to for example, buy Aave, synthetics, MakerDAO, like all sort of these things. You need to actually know what you're doing, and we're just bringing that to their brokerage account. The second approach is that we're also investors ourselves in these DeFi protocols. So it's public that, from our initial investment of 250K from the initial private placement, we have about 106.5% increase in value just last month. So that gives you a bit of a feeling for what is actually possible in the decentralized finance space. So those are kind of like the main things that fall within some of these buckets that you just described.
We saw a big splash on social media when you announced Anthony Pompliano as an advisor to the company. For a lot of our viewers who don't follow the cryptocurrency world, tell us what Anthony brings to the table.
So Anthony has been in crypto for a very long time. He's very well known and brings a lot of deal flow and knowledge and things that we can work on together for as a company. Like I mentioned, one of the real values is the company is the people that we brought on board, and we've really focused on bringing the best people, the leading figures within crypto and the financial sector on board as advisors of the company, and the market have reacted to that, like you said already, very positively.
So, Wouter, you were the founder of SecFi, another successful tech company. Tell us why you decided to strike out and form DeFi Technologies now.
Yeah, it's a great question. I founded a business like 4 years ago. We have been very successful in building the first financial company that effectively allows startups such as Uber, Airbnb, and Pinterest to get liquidity against their shares without having to sell them. So for that business, I raised around $600 million. We're 50 people across 2 different countries, and it kind of runs itself and has been very successful. But we built everything in a centralized fashion way. So we have a broker dealer, onshore funds, offshore funds, trustees, custodians. And what interests me is that with the advent of decentralized finance and everything that's happening around smart contracts, SecFi could have been such a more efficient business if it had access to all that technology. That's why it really makes sense to kind of like now focus on this, which can be really the backbone for companies such as SecFi to thrive in the future.
And my last question is, DeFi, while new in the market, is making big waves already. When do you think that DeFi will replace mainstream financial institutions and their functions?
Yeah, I think it's always very hard and very dangerous to make statements of when you think something will replace something. I think the financial service industry is huge, and DeFi has an impact on so many different industries, such as lending, derivatives. You've got all these protocols that are sort of coming up in these different sectors, even prediction markets and the like. So I don't think it's just like financial services. I think DeFi can help and replace like some of these industries, and some will go quicker than other. It really depends on like who is involved in these industries, how big are they, and how entrenched are sort of the incumbents, the customers, and what the switching costs are. So I think there's like multiple ways to look at this, but I do think DeFi is here to stay. The same thing for crypto, and we'll see a lot of positive things come for this.
So thank you very much, Wouter, for giving us a view on DeFi technologies, also giving us an understanding of what decentralized finance is.
You're most welcome, and thank you so much for having me on.
Please like our video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to help us get more cutting-edge stock coverage to the market.